You can rap. That's a fact. I can put more things together than saran wrap. Let me wet my whistle, wet my tongue. Gonna do a little just to let you know that I'm ready for some fun. In the funk house, gotta drop the mic when I step out. Gotta come home, let you know I'm about to get more than just the bedroom rocking. It's the microphone. May I hit a bar or two? Let you see this girl D, she ain't no fluke. Let you know that where I'm coming straight from the dome. I'm about to tell you some real shit. Cause I'm on a new topic, won't stop it. Victims against false allegations. That's about to be the topic. Yeah, but I got a story too. I got a story that's true. I'm about to just tell you, cause it's from a while ago. Yeah, let's stop messing with those hoes. I'm about to tell it. About to share it, tell it. Hey, Lunel, you think you're gonna need a double pretty soon when they talk about the story of you? Oh, hell. I'm pretty sure I could play your part. I could do it. I could be some version of you. Put some makeup on me. Teach me how to walk in heels. Ah, man. I'm hecka weird. I got a listener. What is this about? What is this title? Victims against false allegations. Yes, I got a story happened to me. Just talking about earlier, but we're talking about it again. You see, and it all has to do, usually in some type of dating relationship, that can happen. Hello, Ladon. It can happen. You hear someone. Um, I'm doing like I need to tell a story, so I'm very blessed because this is I feel like an important topic that goes under the radar, and it's about victims of false allegations that could lead to an arrest, that could lead at times to a conviction, you know, and I can relate to, and it got me to really feeling like, there needs to be more of a penalty for someone who will make up something or stretch the truth about a situation that could happen that may have occurred and cause, and more times out of 9 times out of 10, it's usually a man who ends up getting in trouble behind a woman, or just someone getting in trouble behind a woman because her feelings got hurt. Whether it's like you guys didn't want to be with her, on down to the fact where you'd be like, yeah, I didn't necessarily hit her on purpose. She was grabbing my arm because I was trying to leave, and I was like, let me go. Then let me go, and my arm swing back and hit the person. That's kind of thing. But that's all the girl needed was, aha, finally, your fist touched me in a heavy way, not even with anger behind it. And mine happens to be where I got hit, and then I was told on that I was the hitter, which anybody who knows me is just like, what the heck, what? But my blow was the blow of saying, and I don't feel like it was because they felt like, oh, you're not gonna be with me anymore. My life is over. No, the ego. I really took it more like this. Their ego was like, oh no, I do the leaving, bitch. You don't do the leaving. You don't tell me it's over. I say when it's over. I really felt like that's what it was really about. You know. But with that, it was like, okay, I had to go to court because, especially once I understood the seriousness of what a restraining order meant, I didn't understand that a restraining order was something that kind of went on your background check when they just checking, your background from McDonald's. It's a, and then they'll tell you what you got a restraining order for. And to have it for some type of domestic situation is not like appropriate. It could be seen in people's eyes as a real big negative, especially when that's the only thing that's stopping you from coming into somebody's house with a clean background. And I felt like, especially with, I hadn't had a lot of time involved, and even if I did, it didn't even matter. When somebody goes way out of their way to want to try to just get a restraining order, but get you possibly arrested. And then you have to like post a bond for something, but to try to get you arrested behind something, just to get you arrested, even if they can't bail you out, still to go through about it. What is you talking about? I'm talking about that there needs to start being a penalty for people that make false allegations against someone that especially leads to the arrest. But if you have to go to the courthouse to prove that you're not guilty of these accusations, so you don't get a restraining order put against you, like whether they're male or female, but especially since there's mainly broads out there doing it, um, they need to have some accountability. They need to understand that there will be a penalization 3 times, 5 times stronger than whatever that individual had to go through. Pay a fine. If you can't pay the fine, you go to jail. You give up your passport rights, or you make sure you don't go by that person. They get a restraining order then, something like that. Because I'm always thinking of just somebody attempting to have a restraining order, but almost getting me arrested. Under some false pretenses and allegations, and they wrote them out and everything. I'm like, I have those things. I have the receipts, as people like to, call and say. So it's like all the more. Oh, oh yeah, I feel you. The system has failed us. Unfortunately, doesn't surprise. Yeah, but you know what? It fails more because nobody's made a point about it. Ain't nobody like brought it up to the current whoever listens to shit like that, the governor of the state, and been like, hey, this is gonna stop. Because that's broad as the people making those false allegations waste a lot of the taxpayers' money, especially. And that's why they don't, because that's probably a lot of their money comes from making sure that there's prosecutors and programs available for people who make false allegations against people. All right, so I'll give you a like. Word, I appreciate that. Cali boy, right on. I got a like and somebody took one back. But that's what's up. You can go and give me a subscribe too. Not that I'm fishing for you. But anyway, um, in my case, it was about a restraining order, I guess being upheld it, and it wasn't till towards in the end, and that's where it's like I shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I coulda had refiled one too, and I felt like I really had just cause because I had, still have, calls of her saying like talking really bad and even threatening me. Where she had none of that kind of stuff. Nothing. If anything, just me being like, I don't understand why you're being like this. I love you so much. Yeah. Being abroad. Me, you know. Because there's more so where it's like, wow, I think you're funny. I think you're cool. I don't want to lose this. We don't have to have sex. Like, let's be cool. That's how I'm really just, am I looking like a something because of that in a negative way where it's just like, shoot, we grown. We're just supposed to be having fun anyway. You was the one wanting to get serious. But meeting that person helped me understand and learn more about what the love bombing thing and um, trauma bonding and all kind of weird stuff. But the highlight of it for me was understanding like, oh man, I really don't love myself. I'm in no position to be healing hurt people. Once you get to a certain age, basically past 18, 21, you need to see a therapist. Me, I don't need to be dealing with somebody and their emotional moments. Is like I'm trying to grow, build, have a good time, a good sex moment with you, a good dinner. I'm not here to. I can listen to something like as a casual you listening to, but where you're in a moment where you want somebody to take you seriously and look at you in a manner of loving and caring, well, it's like, oh hell no, how am I supposed to do that with you having these weird traumatic blow ups and insecurities? Insecurities especially, it is not your partner's responsibility to show you you ain't got nothing to worry about in your face. When especially when it's like if they gonna do something, they gonna do it where you're not able to see it. Especially if that's what y'all not down for anyway. But it's like that's something you gotta heal and work on with yourself to be secure. To like walk in a room feeling like you're comfortable in the shoes that you walked in there with. You know that you looked at yourself, you liked what you've seen, and it's like here you go everywhere. Here's what you can like to see or like not to. It doesn't matter because I like it. We got to get to that point, and I can say we like because I definitely understood that of being insecure because I wasn't insecure with me. So just anyway, where I could get where a person's like, where you see you're dating someone that's flirty. To them, they're like, I'm just flirting, having fun. But since you just keep on, you know what? I got some interest anyway. Since you're gonna be thinking this shit anyway, and then that's what it is. They do because you kind of technically open the door for it. Nobody wants to be with somebody that's insecure. Because it's like you're not gonna be able to satisfy that person, especially when you know that there ain't nothing going on with you. You'd be like, I flirt in front of you. We would got nothing to worry about. Because that I just do. I like to flirt. I like to just have fun conversation and go home. I'm going home with you. You in my life. But like I said, most of those times I feel like those things happen when we're younger, especially if you don't got no brothers and sisters. If you are from a single family, or if you are from a family that's too programmed in a way of doing things that's not realistic. There's a lot of reasons why you could be able to avoid not growing up knowing that you should be comfortable about yourself. Whether you got a gap, you got freckles, you got straight hair, you got curly hair that's always poofy, you got hips and a flat chest, you're not as endowed as the other boys yet, or you grow a bunch of hair or you don't grow hair, whatever. All these different things we'll have just insecurities about because we see somebody else attractive and not knowing you see their body attractive and they see yours attractive, you know. So it's just kind of like you just be cool with you, and then they say if you're not, then you change it because it's you. It's you. I'm like I look at myself and I be like, oh my gosh, it's not so much me even letting myself go. I've allowed pain to just be my restrictor. Like I don't do as much, you know, or just circumstances where like, hey, shoot, I just can't twist that knee so much it'll hurt really bad, But it's allowed where I haven't changed my eating habits. So it's like, what do you expect? Things aren't going to get better unless you change things and you make it better for yourself. And it's like if anybody's supposed to be like going along with you, they'll just go along with you. And if it's not meant to be, then they won't. And that's the biggest thing. When people are like, wait a minute, because you don't understand. You don't understand. I love that person. I remember this is like not about me for a minute, but it's about this situation. This one girl was saying like, you don't understand. I love your son. I was just like, oh God, all the more. This is not gonna work. Just how you, I'm like, how long you known him? But you just think I'm like, you don't even know what love is yet, and that's not putting it down. But I understand where you're at. It's like most people, especially the younger you are, you're not ready to hear something that's a fact that in 5 years, months, but for sure like 5, 10 years when that person turns 30, they're gonna be like, that lady was so right. It was a fun experience, but I was far away from love. you know? And it's like, and that's okay. That's okay. That's not to doubt that someone couldn't, but you like, it's just about understanding the different levels of love. Just like the last individual mistake that I made that was the best thing that ever happened for me, I felt like I loved what was happening. I won't say like, but I wasn't in love, but I love what was happening. So yeah, I'm like, and I love them for that, for being apart. Like we could be like real, you know. So I feel like you think when you're older, you can be in a situation with someone and it'll go smoothly. That will be past all those puppy dog arguments, but it's not the case. And that's granted to where I'm here now. Like I said, with where you could be with somebody just in a few months, you go through all kind of crazy ups and downs, and ego. It's ego. You could be a, a going for your freedom because you hurt somebody's ego by saying, you know what, I don't want to be involved with you anymore. That ego says, you don't tell me it's over. I tell you it's over. And next thing you know, for me in that situation, the first thing that happened was, oh, so you saying it's over? Bam! I get smacked in the face on the freeway on a Friday night with light showers, you know? But the cap is, forget what happens, like, I'm sure I'll tell that later. But the very next day, let me see, 2 or 3 days later, a friend gets a message that, hey, that house I sold, the people called me and said that a police officer in plain clothes came looking for you or something like that. Or something, you know. No, they were on a bike. I can't remember. None of the police came looking for you. And it's like, my first thing is like, wait a minute, what? I'm thinking all kind of weird shit. Before I finally, like, thought about, when I finally found out, eventually they found the address where I was at and left, things that, hey, you need to come down. And so then I had a subpoena or whatever that was like, I had to go to court. And the funny part is the court was like the very next day. Um, so then when I get the paper, it was like that night she instantly went to telling this whole, call the police, telling this whole story. I remember she called my phone, but my phone was dead. And so I didn't get those messages, and it was on a phone that was already like messing up. So it was like it was heck of days before I finally turned on the phone and listened to the message. I'm listening to the message. I'm responding to the message. I'm calling the chick. I'm thinking she's just playing like this heck of hard to get, like had those moments, and not knowing until the day before that they wanted me to go to court. So I drive down, and then I like almost an hour. I had to drive down to this courthouse, and the judge tells me that, and that's when it took into effect. Like, hey, no contact. I didn't know, so she had attempted to like say like, hey, this person's in violation of something, because they've been contacting me, but I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. And that's fortunate. It was like, whew. But once I would have known anyway, especially. But then I read up on it. So now here I am. I'm being charged. So where if anything, he's trying to attempt to put a restraining order. A restraining order is still a charge made against you. It's probably like one of the most minor of all things to get charged with and arrested if you get arrested and charged behind, and it stick. Although it's still one of the first of damaging, you know. She had made it now going into about, there needs to be rights and advocacies for the victims of. She went and made this long list and wrote it out, this report, adding on things about people like of my ex relationships, bringing them in, which I hadn't even been speaking to them for a while. So I'm saying like just literally went and said I was a street pharmacist, made up a lot of stuff. Said I used street pharmaceuticals, made up a whole lot, lot of things. To where it's just like, this is no way. And in my mind, I'm not knowing exactly anything. I didn't know anybody who'd been to court behind any of this. So in the back of my mind, part of me is just like, oh wow. It's like just alone from somebody saying this, I have to go to court right now. I can't say no. I don't. This is not true. No, I had to go to court, and I'm just like, there's just no way this is for real. But it was for real. It took a few months to get it over and done with, I believe. You know, and at the end, the judge was like, "Hey, where you live? Where you live? I don't even see no threat here. This is some BS." For me, it was for sure like it was just a small, just in that moment, um, situation to where didn't have to worry about no jury and everything. It was just a judge and made sense. But she was making like stupid faces and being silly, um, to where I feel like I had an advantage anyway, thankfully. But it doesn't necessarily go out like that. And for like I said, and she did leave me messages of threats, to where I was like, I should be the one to put a restraining order on you. Like, how would you like that? And that's where I'm saying, it was just that though was behind it. Ha. It wasn't really like, hey, wait a minute, because you hurt me. You really, really hurt me. And I should be the one who is filing the restraining order. And then that's how it'll go. Usually the real victim doesn't press charges against people that they really cared about. The real victim won't file it, won't even make any kind of answer any questions about someone that they really, really care about. You know, it's freaking crazy. But those people and their egos, and that's usually it. A lot of people are fighting for their life and freedom right now because they hurt somebody's ego, their feelings, they don't even know what pride is. And instead of like the where it's like, what part does the supposed that person, the victim, where is their self responsibility? Where's that come to play? Where they get the fuck away? Because was anybody like ever holding them down and saying, "Hey, you're not allowed to leave. You're a prisoner." Why did they stick around? Because you were using that person. They had something that you needed and wanted. Warm home. Yeah, they just it was just to equal up a good time and fun. It always have to be physical, something you can hold or touch. It also just be mental. But people making false allegations against other people and them just getting away with, hey, don't you do that no more. That's just no, that's come on, that it just don't even make sense. That's okay. That's what I'm saying. That's for a lot of fat tax dollars. And so, hey, I'm gonna run for dog catcher, and this dog catcher is for those that make false allegations. Male or female, coming to get you. Making false allegations against people. And what's the worst? We don't have enough evidence to stick them. That was a bunch of taxpayers' dollars used for no reason. She should have to pay for it. Charters don't stick. It gets proven that anything was falsified, exaggerated, should have to pay for it. Monetary wise, do a day, make one license plate, whatever the hell. He, she, they, them, make a false allegation against someone. Yeah, instantly. Or you give the girl also a cool off where you go too far. Just get a cool off. Nobody like hears the story. They just go right to prosecuting. And didn't even see anybody in the act. This lady, a victim in here with me, they didn't even have like not any kind of scratch on them. I did hit her upside her head, but she had hit me. I had a little bruiseness, redness on my face. I didn't go take a picture. That would have been perfect. I remember when I went to the police office and police station, and I'm like, okay, whatever this is, it is. I'm thinking there's one thing, it's another. He gave me a paper and said the name, and I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Kind of glad that's it, but you got to be kidding me. And I read the statement. Mm, Things some people do. You have victims against false allegations. My side. So I'm highly against it. Highly against it. Now, you can relate. hey, too bad, so sad for you. Cause this ain't even about you. I already told you what it's about. And I got receipts, so I ain't just making shit up. I'll post the receipts. It's coming up to the anniversary of that day in a couple months. These are really rich. Oh my goodness. I mean the butter cookie. Mm. I'm bringing them to it's a big old tin. I'm bringing it to my family because this thing is huge. I want to be eating all this. I don't need to see how long it'll take me to eat it either. But my uncle and aunt, they can tear them up. Mm. But yeah, so anyway, what I'm saying, there'd be more money in the court thing if people who make false reports understood that if their report, if their claim comes to be found out to be false, damn, there's more there. They understand that they're going to be penalized. Is the point I'm trying to make here. That's what they need to understand. Don't just call the cops, call the cops. Somebody's going to pay every time. Somebody got to go every time. And not know this, hey, we don't want to come back out here again type of thing. This is the only shape I haven't tried yet. I don't think I like it. Yeah, you make false allegations, there's a penalty. Especially if it leads to somebody's arrest goodness, forgiveness or conviction. And then it's all done under false accusations and pretenses. And then it's like, what a failed system. Even more so if they will not and cannot accept the truth. Cannot, will not, and does not. You can't live your life because you got to be worried about what somebody else is doing. That's not healthy for you. It's like, how are you supposed to survive? You think it's really possible? Yeah, there's some people can make it from they bedroom and never leave it. Sometimes, every now and again, a person's just gonna be like, I just want to sit in the corner to myself right now. I need to be taking my hair down, getting it done again. See, we let people get away with stuff. Go home accountable. One that's like a lot of frivolous spending, taking upon a bunch of cases that need to go so far. Sorry, I'm thinking of letting my thoughts drift, and I know I can't say them out loud. I want to say them, so I say them in my head. Anybody relate to that? I mean, I'm not perfect about anything. But I still think about that now. I'm like, we didn't even be friends after that, you know? And I feel like this is something for sure, like, we've been able to laugh about. Like, girl, your ass is crazy. And I could have been like, I know it's just your ego, because for you, you're just like, I'm the one who stay by. You don't dump me, you know? Which is just like, okay, that's a little mental. But still, let's make some fucking, let's do some YouTube shit together. Let's blow this up. I got ideas, you got ideas. Let me learn from you. I just want to learn how to get the music on without getting copyright. That's all I want to do anyway. Learn from you. You know? It's like, shoot. That's what you'll find. Then you end up finding out, or you could be. I'm not saying that that was the case. Nobody ever said I don't think it, but you could be in a race with somebody. It's like, God forbid, like somebody happens to have the same type of hobby or interest as you, and you guys run across each other's paths. That doesn't mean anybody was copying you or they want something from you, especially when they're like, hell, I was already at the same door as you. Nose itching, am I getting seriously talked? I probably am being talked about, and that's a good thing. Talk about me. Shit, put some money in my pockets too. If you make any from talking about me, I want my percentage all in, 20s or something. Another day, hey. day to come my way. Uh, Even if it's not all yours, let your hair down, girl. Let your hair down. It's yours now. You done attached it to your head. Oh, I saw a lady. Oh, excuse me. I saw a lady earlier this evening. She just constantly just. But even for me, like for me, it's like to me, this is. I look at the bad part as like we was in our. I was in my 50s going through some stuff like that, and that should be way too old to be dealing with somebody being on some narcissistic BS, you know, and ego, whatever, some kind of ego trip to where your feelings are so hurt that you like, oh, I'm about to ruin somebody's life. Like I just ruined yours. That, and then to me, especially, I'm like, it's just another freaking argument, or that we've had that it didn't have to go that far to where you're gonna just be like, oh, that's it. You is I'm gonna make sure that you got a good reason to not mess with me. you know. Um, and once again, I'm like, that was just cause. That was perfect reason. At first, I did want to call the cops. I mean, because it goes deeper into like what fueled her besides her ego. She was, because I did call the cops, but I called the police as I was like, I dropped her off at home, which was kind of like really, like 50, 60 feet from her gate. And I said, I'm going to drop you off here. I want you to get out the car as soon as I drop you off. Don't say anything to me. Nothing. Don't say anything. Just get out. And I told her I'm going to call the police. And sure enough, as she getting out, she trying to talk to me. And I said, I told you I don't want to talk to you. And I called the cops. And I had told them, I was like, this guy in a situation. I don't want anybody to get in trouble. I said that I don't want anyone to get in trouble. I just want them out. I want to go home. And so she got out, and I was like, I kept my word. I'm like, I didn't want anybody to get in trouble. She was right there. She heard that. Hung up. Left. Well, when I saw the police report, she had apparently like maybe waited, I don't know, like an hour or two. I think she had a couple drinks, but she had called. It was almost like she called me and then called them, or called them and then called me right after. She called them and then called me to leave make a report. Something like that, you know. And then that just trickled on. And then, like I said, when I read this whole scenario, it was like, what were you on when you wrote this? Like, what are you talking about right now? What the hell kind of stuff? I done did this, I did that. As far as I'm saying, so when I've seen some things recently, and where somebody is pretty much going through the same damn thing I'm going through, or I went through, and it just brought it up for me again to be like, this has got to stop. And I'm really just going into domestic cases right now because that's where it was for me, and I was just facing a restraining order, but it's not even just was because that would really have screwed me up. Most of my friendships involve people running a back, being having to have a background check ran. and that could really hurt a person's reputation. You know, because even when you're like, hey, it was just some false thing, it wasn't really, and it's kind of, and especially if it sticks, and it's like, well, why did it stick if you got one? But that's where it was like I didn't understand about the restrained order world, and that's how I found out where it takes just in case. Just as much as they can make a claim, it's still like anything, you gotta prove it. And like I said, for her, she didn't have anything compared to the mounds of evidence that I had against her. Just mounds of evidence is like you lying ass, you threatening people, you know. I wish I kept like all the videos because they were entertaining. And anyway, I should have kept all the videos of the stuff that she said about me, and that's where it's like, um, and that's just the thing. You would think now, she knows she sent me these messages that I have just as much, or I have a more stronger case than she. But that's where you'd be like, okay, this person's a little not here. They're a little off because they got to be. Because somebody in their right mind would be like, oh shit, I better think twice before I do this because I actually got some stuff. That and also that kind of person's just like, you know what? I don't give a damn. Say what you want to say. Do what you want to do. I don't care. And that's when you're just like, oh shit. What did I get myself? Who did I get myself involved with here? So. But like I said, it didn't work out like that. Went to court and it all ended. But it was just for me. It was like, hey, I was out of gas, time, all these down. I had to make a whole bunch of Xerox copies, pay somebody to what's his name while I mail it off to her. Uh, that what's his name thing had to figure out like how to copy stuff onto a I forgot what it's called, that thing you stick into a computer. I don't use it much. A little chip thing you can put information on it. And it was like, a couple $100, quite a few hours of driving out of my way. I'm like, do I get some kind of compensation back for that? Because Christian was like, this is just some false stuff anyway that she made up, you know. But it's like, and she didn't live far at all, so she didn't have to go out of her way for nothing. She was, in her element. It was like a hop, skip, and a jump for her, you know. So that's why I'm such now. It's like, okay, now I'm seeing this happening, you know, to people, and especially when it's people I care about. Especially because you be like, it's more people who get, and that's where I just go into thinking about how people who do some serious things, you know, disrupt people's lives seriously, and they can get a pat on the back and be like, hey, all right, it's just weed, but I don't want to see no more weed. You better be asking people. Like they'll make all kind of excuses to help you to not f up, to remind you what you should be like already. But it's like, okay, it's all good. I'm like, I know, and there is hope. But I feel like the younger somebody is, and they can address the trauma bonding and stuff, that's about getting into therapy, the better off they can be to have a healthy and productive, relation with someone. the younger they are. Like everybody's got a chance, you know. But there's some people that's just who the hell they are. That's who they want to be. They want to be jacked up. They want to be narcissistic like that. Oh, my shin hurt. They want to be like that. They like the game of the hustle. Some people really like to, hustle um, people. Um, some people like to hustle emotions. That's what I'm looking for. And hell no, that's not freaking right at all. Some people, that's what I'm saying again. It's like, am I doing it justice? What about, if you, how can you say that you're somebody who you care about humanity? You let somebody get away with something like that. You letting somebody get away with something like that. You don't care about humanity. Because now, because some people do. Once they find out your name, they'll pay $1 to do a background check on you. You know, and see, because some people aren't going to tell you that, oh, I got a domestic aggravated false accusation report against me. I'm known as a as a false file reporter. They don't have that yet. That needs to be come into play. Stop thinking this song is about you. You're not the only one with a tune. Oh man. Whew. Legs was all cooped up. This is off the subject, but I had got on the airplane recently. As I was getting on the airplane, I had to sit in the middle. There was a lady over to the right by the window, little gray haired little lady, Caucasian. As I'm coming to sit down, she goes, "Hey, I know you're big and everything. I know you're big. You can't help it, but I don't want, you leaning on me." I said, "I'm like, am I leaning on you now? Was I? I'm just trying to sit down. What are you talking about?" She's like, "I'm just saying, like, no, okay, okay, just want to say." So it's like, okay, gotcha. So then I ended up getting woken up when, students came to offer complimentary drinks and stuff. And the lady's like, "Can I help you?" She's like, "I'm trapped. I'm literally trapped. Oh my God." So that gets me to get up and I'm like, "Well, little lady, if I'm touching you," and I look and see, and it's just my arm jacket. I had like my jacket over my head. My arm jacket was touching her, and that had stopped her from being able to move. She was just in awe. She's like, "I'm trapped. I can't move. Oh my gosh." People of color, kryptonite, their clothing, a peasant person, a regular person is touching me. Their clothing, something I can't. I was just so tickled. But the lady to me, that was basically like a 70-year younger version of the lady to my left. Born of modern times. I was like, "Mom, father in touching you." She was like, "No, everything's fine. I was going to ask you, do you want to put the armrest up? Would that make it better?" No, I want the arm rest up, which I did. I wanted the arm rest up. I can have that, because I wasn't trying to lean on nobody or nothing. Especially when it's like I was in pain, had a pain pill, and that just did me alright. But, yeah, going through a TSA, if you're not like on the pre-cleared, you are definitely subjected to be classified um, stig- carry a stigma. I'm getting blunt now. So I'm getting blowing y'all out about, but I can't reiterate enough, and it's important. It's like, people deserve rights. Victims and victims of victims under false accusation victims. You know, I done called the cops because I wanted a motherfucker out of my face, and they wouldn't get on my face. So, yeah, I made something up. I exaggerated a bit because I was like, I want him out of my face, leave me alone. Cause I'm like, I'm not gonna sit up there and argue with a motherfucker all day. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't, I don't find it fun. I'm not about to argue with you all day. Doesn't matter, male or female. We're gonna throw a little couple jabs and rah 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 for a minute, and then that's it. It doesn't need to keep just going back and forth and back and forth. And we can carry on as we were or as it is now. We can just carry on. Don't fuck with me. I don't fuck with you. And that's good with me. You know, all right. All right. So that's been a quick for an hour for me, letting it be known. Hey, and who's fixed those laws? I don't know. Local government, the government, the head of something. When it comes to domestic laws, is it a state by state thing as to penalties? I appreciate the likes. Appreciate those who care to listen. I appreciate those who will stand up for the fight. That's right. No false allegations shall be honored without punishment. It's been enough of that. So if you're a supposed victim, you need to think twice. Because it'll be you. You'll be thrown in there with general population. See how you handle being around your own peers. We don't realize our freedoms until it's really taken from us. And when was taken from us because somebody just had the gall to take it. That mother freaking